Good evening. Good evening, everyone. We are live here to discuss career development and preparation. I am excited to have this conversation tonight with you, along with our special guests from the Center for New Horizons here in Chicago. But before we begin to talk about the topic, I'm going to have our very own Elder Ferranda, about to say Nicholson, Williamson, lead us in prayer. Elder?
Yes. Father God, we thank you for just being an awesome God. We thank you for another opportunity to present another Better Living series. As we move forward, Lord, we know people are unemployed. People need to advance in careers. And we thank you for our panelists who are going to share knowledge with us tonight as we move forward in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Thank you so much, Elder. So tonight we're talking about career development and preparation. I know a lot of us have had some multitude of challenges during the pandemic with employment, whether we were ready to switch careers, found out we got some more talents and looking to do some other career things and want to switch our careers, or we've been unemployed during the pandemic and prior to. And then there are those of us who want to learn more about how do we interview better for these types of jobs in a virtual world. Are we able to use technology to our advantage to help us win these folks over in regards to getting these jobs? Or are we able to look into how we're able to develop our resume so it can match the skills that are needed and required for these positions that we're looking to get hired for? Well, I'm excited and I have great news. We are here with members of the Centers for New Horizon to speak with us about what this organization can do for us, and as well as present information about how you can be better at what you're doing in regards to your career. So I'm going to introduce Mr. Edwin Galletti, who is the Director of Workforce and Economic Development for the Centers of New Horizons. He has more than 15-year experience in human capital and workforce innovation. He's going to share with us a little bit more about the Centers for New Horizons. Ms. Galletti?
Hey, thank you. Thank you for having me this evening. Just coming here to give you guys a little bit of information on Centers for New Horizons. We believe that we're Chicago's best, worst known secret. For example, we've been around since 1971, providing full services for the past 50 years to the residents of Chicago. We are a full service agency that provides services from the ages of 6 weeks to the end of life. These programs that we offer to Chicago residents are in earlyhood, childhood, and education. We got youth development programs, as well as adult and family services. We also have violent prevention and intervention programs. And the reason we're here today, workforce development, as well as we provide services to older adults and seniors. We are here today to tell you we got over 300 qualified staff in 13 locations throughout Chicago ready to serve you all. Today, we're going to give you guys a little, some more information on preparing to enter the workforce during the pandemic and post-pandemic. So I am going to pass this along to Cleveland Pitts, who is our senior trainer with Centers for New Horizons, and he's going to take it from here. And hopefully you all at the end of this presentation will fill out the link in the Google form that we're going to provide to you so my team can reach out to you all and help you get back to work in life.
Thank you so much, Brother Galletti. Now we have, but before I introduce Cleveland, let me reiterate something that Brother Galletti said. We do have a special form designed for folks who are attending our workshop to stay in touch with this organization. It has such a great number of resources to ensure you're able to be the best in your workforce development. Now, I want to introduce Mr. Cleveland Pitts. Cleveland is the training coordinator at the Centers for New Horizons. He prepares participants for jobs through the Job Ready philosophy. He's focused on his strong resume, job search techniques, and interviewing tips. He studied African American Studies at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Cleveland has over 10 years of social services experiences. He's committed to improving the lives of the community. So I would like to bring to you, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cleveland Pitts.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? It is a pleasure of being connected with you all tonight. Hopefully, you'll be able to get some good information that can help you kind of navigate how's life after this pandemic, and also just looking for jobs here in the 21st century. We now understand things are changing, right? We've zoomed our life away, hence this presentation. So I hope I just want to kind of share some information with you that can help you navigate that. Okay. All right. So, what is the post-pandemic job market? We hear about this. A lot of COVID is starting to subside. Thank God. With people starting to get the vaccines. Right, people are getting over the disease that have it. So we're starting to kind of get into life as we know it, back to regular things like going to restaurants and hanging out with friends and things of that nature. But we want to kind of get prepared for the post-pandemic job market. Um, so the change in labor market, right? Jobs that require personal contact had changed, right? Restaurants were down to capacity, right? Concerts, even church, right? The way we worship had changed, right? Because of the pandemic and the labor market. All right. Um, a lot of things are going to automation, right? Even when you call customer service, you got to go through this little bot to get to a live person. You just want to get to a live person off the bat, but they've created automation so you can talk to, I guess, computers before you get to talk to a live person. Uh, we zooming our life away, right? Everything's on Zoom. Yeah, people going to court on Zoom, people getting married on Zoom, kids going to school via Zoom. So it's taking over our life. Zoom, Google Teams, all the different software, but everything's came onto things that are virtual. All right. But the good thing is with the change in labor market are coming new business opportunities, new jobs, new careers. So we'll briefly talk about some of those tonight. What are the jobs that are in high demand, right? We want to look for work in the places that we most likely get hired. Um, Environmental services and cleaning services, right? Cleaning buildings, cleaning homes, cleaning anything, because everybody wants to stay away from COVID, right? Everybody wants to stay safe. So there's a boom for people who are in that industry and also businesses that provide that service. So you want to definitely kind of be mindful of that and look at opportunities in environmental services and cleaning services career. Home health care, right? Someone needs to take care of your family members that have possibly recovered from COVID. Uh, Family members that are dealing with different ailments, right? You need people who are coming in that can help them take medication, clean their homes, feed them, and therein lies comes the reason for home health care. So I know a lot of people are familiar with home health aides, so it would come underneath that umbrella. Grocery stores, we need food. Those are things that have been booming from the whole pandemic. Grocery stores, sometimes they can't keep stuff stocked enough, right? They may run out of different staples, but they keep restocking it. They need employees to stock that. They need cashiers, and we'll go into different positions with these. But you've kind of seen how grocery stores are so integral part of this our daily lives. Logistics. How do we get stuff to those grocery stores? How do we get stuff to those businesses? How do we get anything from like getting your package from Amazon to getting your mail from the post service, right? Logistics has been very important. Technology. We understand everything is going on Zoom, so we need people to better handle that. We need people who may have had a store, but they want an online site, right? So you need people to kind of have those skill set so you can help people get involved with that. And we know food service, be it from hospital food service where people preparing meals for patients and people recovering from any type of ailments, including COVID, but also restaurants. There are restaurants that still were operating during the pandemic, especially like these cloud kitchens where you'll go to your order from Wendy's, but it may not be a brick and mortar Wendy's, but it's at a place where all these different restaurants are housed. Right? You need workers to fill that and fill the orders. So you have food service jobs that are increasing in that field. Okay. Environmental services, right? These are some examples of the different careers that are kind of booming, and also the areas of where these services are available. Housekeeping for hotels, right? We know that hotels taken a huge hit because of COVID, but people just started coming back, and then workers who are working uh, in the different fields around the city may need somewhere to stay, right? First responders and what have you. So there's still a need for hotel services, and then you need someone who's going to be able to clean it up to standards to make sure you're not spreading COVID. All right. Um, Housekeeping services for hospitals, right? You have to keep the hospital clean, right? You want to keep down the spread of any staph infections or anything like that. You're going to need people who are going to go into each room as a patient's discharged or cleaning the lobby or waiting room, but you need someone who's going to make sure that everything's clean properly. Okay. Other professional cleaning services, schools, right? We know schools are starting to open, so they're going to need people to clean those schools. May have to clean them out each lunch period. May have to clean them out every after every class. But you're going to need people who are trained and are professional who can take care of that for schools. Office buildings, right? We have the office, but some of these office buildings haven't been occupied since March, right? So you're gonna need some people to come in there and clean those office buildings. Yet we know that they may be going to use finding a better use for those spaces in the future, but in the meantime, just still need people to clean uh, the offices and what have you. Warehouses, right? A lot of these places that are logistics warehouses that are distributing goods around the country, they're gonna need people to clean those warehouses. Um, Pretty much any business that is running during the pandemic is going to need somebody to clean it. You're going to need somebody that's going to stop the spread and makes their customers and their employees feel comfortable enough to come to work. So I know that if a person is a cleaning professional and they clean it properly, I feel more safe to can patronize that business or come to school or even work in that warehouse. So these people in environmental services and cleaning services are vitally important. And during the pandemic and also post pandemic, healthcare, right? We've seen how the healthcare industry has been, tied to knots, has been strained during this whole pandemic. And you're gonna need people who to shore up that kind of the shortcomings of health care industry, and also that are getting prepared them for the future opportunities within the healthcare industry. Uh, Home health aides we talked about earlier, they're going to be very important because not everybody may be comfortable coming to a hospital, or they may not have the capacity. So I want to better have as much care as my ailing family member or just a family member who uh, is kind of getting up there in age or just need extra help. I want to have somebody who is trained and also someone I can trust who's coming into my house to take care of my family member. Therein lies comes the importance of home health care. Medical assistance, right? The medical assistants may be doing a myriad of things, but the doctors, clinics, hospitals are going to need people who are professional and who are able to help doctors navigating patient flows, all type of things. So we're gonna need that medical system to definitely look out for the interests of a medical office. Lab technicians, right? Being from COVID tests, blood tests, anything, or radiation or X-rays, or anything of that nature. You're gonna need those lab technicians to get that out there to give doctors accurate information and also allow them to be able to kind of communicate that to their patients. Occupational therapy assistants, right? A lot of people who been working this time, people may get hurt, right? Or they have to find a different way to do their job because of COVID, but they're gonna need a person who's can, help them train their body on how to get ready for that. For this physical therapist assistant, right? People that may have gone through rehab for injuries or whatever, it's gonna be a boom after that, after COVID, even possibly. I mean, now, especially because things are starting to get better, but also post pandemic. Physician's assistant, right? These are the people that's right under the doctor, right? We all know there's a shortage of doctors in this country, so therefore we may need a person who's a physician's assistant to take the the burden off of doctors in order to see patients doing different routine checkups or just kind of getting them ready to see the physician. Right, there's becomes a more of an important part for the physician assistant and like nurse practitioners to be available to help these doctors help the doctors mitigate this. And we have to also show appreciation this whole pandemic for doctors, right? You know, they've saved countless people's lives, right? And they've really go above and beyond. A lot of people in the medical industry. Therein lies a lot of ways for there to be career opportunities because of that. All right. Registered nurse, right? We know nurses are very important in the pandemic, right? Even now, we need them to help administer the vaccines, right? A lot of these people are going to be involved in kind of giving out vaccines because there's unfortunately a shortage of people who are able or trained to do vaccines, right? So there lies kind of a lot of career opportunities in that. Phlebotomists, I know I didn't have it here, but phlebotomists and other lab technicians, right? They're going to be leaned on to administer the vaccine because it's going to ramp up. It's going to we're seeing that there are more and more supply coming on every day. Okay, registered nurses. I mean, we said registered nurses. I'm sorry, physicians, right? Doctors, right? We know doctors. We're gonna need them. I mean, it takes a long educational road, right? But we still need those doctors on the front lines, you know, to help keeping us healthy. And pharmacists, right? As we have, they're going to be, you know, a integral part in administering the vaccine, as well as kind of helping us navigate the, you know, use of different drugs that are keeping us alive, and also helping us get better. Okay, as you said, the grocery store industry, right? Be it going from Aldi to Save a Lot to um, Jewel, any little store you name it, right? They've been booming during the COVID, right? Because everybody needs food, right? No, I can't go anywhere, but so a lot of people cooking at home more, and also just the staples. You want to make sure everybody has enough food during the pandemic. So grocery stores have been going crazy. Um, Cashiers, of course, we need somebody to bring us out, right? Stockers, when the people that especially going to Jewels, but certain stores don't have stockers, but the ones that do, they're hiring them because they gotta. I mean, not stockers, excuse me, baggers. Stockers, they need people to keep the product out. Sometimes there's places that can't keep enough product in available, right? For example, I went to Dollar Tree. It was constantly out of things, right? Your staple stuff that you get from any other store, you get from Dollar Tree, and they're constantly having to get these trucks in to refill uh, their shelves, right? And I can see myself, they don't have enough employees. So I know that, even seeing it visually, there's a lot of opportunities for people who don't mind doing that work, in a way to kind of, make ends meet or just take advantage of the opportunities. Okay. Um, then you have baggers, people that, bag in line. Managing system. You need somebody to be able to manage the craziness, the influx of having more people, coming grocery shopping, having more stock coming in, and also having to navigate kind of scheduling and employees. You need people that have that know-how and expertise to do that. So definitely hiring for people that have that skill set. Customer service representative. When you go get your money orders or things at the store, you need someone that can operate that and do that, right? And um, customer service I always think it's very important because that keeps your business open. If a person is courteous and kind and goes above and beyond, or talk about how the Bulls or Bears doing with you, or just kind of make you feel comfortable, like, yeah, I appreciate your business, because I understand if nobody's going to these grocery stores, we don't have jobs available, right? And then we also don't have the food we need. So it's important, you know, people take a pride with customer service. Food preparation workers. So you have the people that are making like the pre-made sandwiches, the bakers, the folks who are making the bread, any myriad of different foods that are already ready made. You have to have those people, those workers, in order to kind of get that ready for you. Butchers, right? We know that our cuts of steak, our ground beef. pork chops or whatever you want. You gotta have somebody that's gonna chop it up and make sure it's right in that package when you get it. When you whatever cost it is per pound, but you want to make sure it's presented correctly and it's done in a very sanitized way, so we stopping the spread of COVID and other foodborne diseases. Okay. All right. Logistics. This is probably one of the most important parts of just the way we operate here in this country or just in the world. It's like, how do we ship goods and get things to people who need them, right? All the carrier services, your UPSs, your FedEx, the postal services, right? They have to be able to get that product or bed or anything that you're ordering online. They have to be able to get it to you. And even Amazon has their own courier service. I mean, now they contract it out, but they have to be able to get their materials and things to people. So they're very important. Logistics coordinator, right? A lot of companies are hiring logistics coordinators in order to keep their supply chain together, right? I don't want to have to worry about, because of COVID, I can't get my product. I need somebody to be able to coordinate my distribution routes, how things are getting to my customers. Where is it coming from? What's the source of my products, right? You need someone that's in-house, company to be able to navigate that, right? Yeah, you can talk to the courier services to do it, but you need to have someone in-house who understands the inventory your company has or business has. Where's it going to? So you need somebody who kind of can quarterback that and keep the flow going for you. Warehouse clerks, somebody who's working on forklifts, right? Somebody who's making sure that, this pallet goes to this truck, this pallet goes to that truck, but you need somebody who's kind of navigating where things need to go within the warehouse. Okay. Uh, Delivery services, right? Your DoorDashes, your Uber Eats, your Postmates, all of these uh, delivery services or apps are important in logistics too, because they need to get food to you. Like I may not always want to go, cook my food. I want some Buffalo Wild Wings, so I'm gonna call up DoorDash and give me some hot wings, right? I want to give me some Harold's, right? I'm gonna call up Uber Eats and give me some Harold's, right? So those delivery services are very important within not this current economy, but in the future, right? Nobody's gonna go back. Everybody's feels comfortable getting things shipped at home, so nobody's gonna stop doing that because the pandemic is. They're gonna still be comfortable with it. Like, oh, you know what? What happens to friends? Oh, I might as well get the catered stuff delivered to me, all right? So those delivery services are definitely going to be important now and also post pandemic. And any supply chain professionals are going to be very, very important when it comes to because the post pandemic, because these professionals are going to help find out why how come sometimes my stock doesn't get to my employees, right? What is the accurate level of my inventory where I'm not ordering for the future, but I know how many boxes I have, how many Twinkies I got on hand right now in my warehouse, right? You need people who can do that, and there comes in the supply chain professional. Heavy truck drivers, right? We have train operators, but that's not gonna get into any store unless we have a truck driver who's gonna drive it for us, right? We're gonna have to have the heavy tractors, the 18 wheelers, right? The tractors, and then even people doing stuff locally. But you're gonna need folks with those type of CDL credentials to do that, right? That's I don't think that's going anywhere anytime soon, but they need more people who have that skill set who are willing to do it, and then you can make good bread doing it, right? A lot of these jobs are good paying jobs, right? Because number one, we know the demand of them, and then also there's a whole slew of jobs are opening and people need those jobs. So a lot of these careers are available. Okay, technology, right? We understand technology is a part of our life. I mean, whether we like it or not, right? And we also know the digital the digital divide is real, right? I mean, having Zoom calls and everything like that. You have to have a phone, right? You have to have a computer, right? So we got to you got to have that access to technology. And then also you have to have people to fill those jobs in the technology field. One of the biggest hiring phase one is artificial intelligence engineering. Companies are automating, right? I mean, unfortunately, people may people won't have to transition to other positions, but AI jobs and parts of AI in companies are not going anywhere, right? If anything, is increasing. So they need software engineers in that realm. I mean, artificial intelligence engineers in that realm to be able to create products for employers. Not only people creating products for employers, but also they need more black people, more people of color in these fields. Because if I'm making artificial intelligence, right, I'm making from my perspective, right? It's not from my lived experience. It's from my lived experience. So we need more people who are from underrepresented communities to get artificial intelligence, so they can be heard and also have that stamp and ideas on how do we shape how our artificial intelligence is going to affect the job market and the way we do life. So we definitely need more uh, engineers in that realm. Web developer. Um, Beside, doing training coordinator for Center Horizon, I'm a web developer too. Um, Everybody needs a website. I don't care if you're, a dog walker to a Fortune 500 company. You need a website to show people, what do you do, how do you do it, how they get in touch with you, and how they buy your product, right? So you need somebody who can build the infrastructure. You need somebody. If I need an e-commerce site, I want to start selling quilts online, right? You need somebody to build that for you. Yeah, you can try to do it yourself, and sometimes you may have to because you may not have the budget. But excuse me, you always want some, people want professionals to do it, right? Because that professional can tell you, oh, if you make this site, it may, you get this response from people, and also somebody that kind of help you grab the data you need from the website to make choices on inventory, marketing, even sometimes color scheme, but ways to make sure that your website is serving both you and your business. So you need web developers and people who have the expertise to help you navigate that. Software engineers, so people making software for companies, right? I want my own video software. I'm tired of using Zoom. Okay, you hire a software engineer to make that for you, create that for you, or you may have companies may have people in house to do that. But those software engineers are becoming much more important because everything is becoming digital. Then digital transformation specialists. So these are people who, like, if I have a brick and mortar business that I was selling shoes, but now I want to sell them online, you're gonna need somebody that's going to help you transfer your kind of brick and mortar store into the e-commerce, right? The web developer is going to be important at, but you're gonna need somebody who specializes in helping you migrate that, right? That's maybe familiar with your industry or familiar with. Uh, how where the money goes, but you're gonna need an expert to kind of help you navigate that. Data scientist, data is king, right? Every website you go to is recording or taking some type of data. You're gonna need somebody who can look at that data to help you find a way, have a company find a ways to action, take action on that data, right? Oh well, I get more customers at 6 a.m. than I do at 5, right? What is it about 5, 6 a.m. that you get more customers, right? A data scientist can do that, right? They can look at the data and say, oh, you know what? We probably should pull down that ad from Facebook because ain't nobody really clicking on it. So that a data scientist will be able to kind of give you, uh, you know, pointers on how to use your data. And then you have to have the analyst, the person who's going to analyze that data that's all coming in, right? How does it help? How does it make me a better business owner? How does it make me a better person? And another one is digital marketing, right? You're gonna have somebody who's going to be able to market your product to people. Everybody, you see the Facebook ads, you see you know the Instagram ads, Snapchat, any social media, you see the ads in the corner or you see ads around. You're gonna need somebody who's gonna be able to get your product, your company in the faces of people who won't buy your stuff, right? You're gonna need somebody to help you kind of migrate that. Database administrator, right? All these databases with customer information, buying habits. You can have somebody who keeps that going, who manages making sure that the data needs to come in comes in, and the data that gets needs to get disposed of, for lack of a better word, gets disposed of. Okay. Cybersecurity, we understand like hackers. Some people want to take your information. You need somebody who can build firewalls and also find out if and when things may be your computer system may be attacked. So you need somebody to kind of look at that. Computer science analysts, excuse me, computer systems. All these intricate computer systems we have, from the internet to um, anything you do technology wise, you're gonna to have somebody to look at that system. What computer system is made it? Is it off the internet? Is it our intranet? An internal internet for a company, right? How's that managed? You need somebody who can analyze that for you. Okay. So I mean, there's countless more technology jobs. These are the ones that I've seen in high demand, but there are countless other ones that are still also in high demand. So I would encourage anybody to just kind of research like technology jobs, right? That may be available. Food services, food service workers, right? That works in a hospital or a school or what have you. But it's going to be someone who is the work is going to kind of make sure that food is prepared correctly, right? It's going to wear their mask, going to wear their gloves, right? It's going to make sure that the person in the hospital may get the right nutrition in their food, right? The dietitian will make sure that food is prepared correctly for a patient in assisted living. But you're going to need food service workers to get prepare that correctly for you, right? And then essentially in hospitals, you have food service aides, right? That may be aiding a dietitian or aiding a cook or whatever to make sure that the meals are cooked properly. Or, even in schools, make sure that the lunches are, COVID free, right? Or in packaging that make sure that you're minimizing the spread of disease, or just sanitary in general. Fast food is hard, right? We all know the chicken sandwiches war, from McDonald's to Burger King to Popeyes. Everybody got a chicken sandwich, right? You're gonna need more employees, as crew members managing that, So those jobs are booming, right? And we seeing people get new franchises all the time. New Chick-fil-A's are opening up. All of these fast food restaurants are opening up, expanding. They're gonna need crew members and people to fill those positions. And then food service management in general, right? From the manager to the general manager, the food buyer. Manager is going to be key too, and finding out how the best focus for the employees, like scheduling, make sure that they know legit, working with the logistics people to make sure they're getting the right product in, that they're not out of stock. You're not going to a store like, oh, we out of biscuits, right? That was a management issue. They may have not planned enough to make sure they had uh but they didn't call the distribution person to make sure they had enough biscuits, right? But you're gonna need somebody who kind of are gonna minimize those stuff, to zero or as low as possible. So you're not having customers who are not satisfied, or you're not missing money. Because if I came in there with a taste for a chicken biscuit and you got no biscuits, right? I may walk out. So you're losing revenue from that, right? And also I may not want to come back. Like, man, this is foul. So you want to make sure you have somebody who's going to manage that for a company, and different restaurants are going to need that. Okay. What do you need to do? Look for a job during times. There's a lot of stuff. We, there's no so straight magic bullet, but there were 2, 3 different strategies you can do to help you look for jobs in there, right? Your resume has to be tight, right? Because you have all these people competing for jobs, and then since a lot of people going to remote, the talent pools open up. So you want to make sure your resume is displaying the best of you off the bat. Okay. Job search strategies, right? You want to know what I look for those jobs, right? Where are the big companies posting those jobs? Where else can I look for for work? You want to know Where what sites can you access to do it, like LinkedIn and things of that nature. So we'll discuss that in a second. Virtual inter techniques. We know virtual interview techniques. We know there's no in-person interviews. Is the way we're presenting now is sharing knowledge through YouTube and the internet, right? Right. So even our seminars and information that would have typically been face to face at a church or at a center or whatever is done online. So same thing with looking for jobs. Everything's done virtually. So you want to kind of prepare yourself for those virtual jobs. Okay. All right. What is a resume, right? We all seen it. We all hear about oh, there's a resume, right? The point of a resume is to get interviewed, right? We know it may display our skills and everything else, but the point of your resume is get yourself on a Zoom call or face to face what employer is going to hire you, right? And it's important to make sure you have the right things on your resume to do it. Okay. The 6 second rule. If I look at your resume, it takes me 3 years to read it, I'm gonna discard it. Because I think if you get hundreds of thousands of resumes, I need to look at it and quick. Okay, this person has this credentials. Okay, yeah, this education, cool. Let me put it aside and have them come in for an interview. But if it's like, what doing? You know what? I'm gonna toss it, right? So you want to have something quick where employer can look at it within 6 seconds and say, oh, you know what? I'll bring this person in for a virtual interview. Let me send them a link for the Zoom call. Okay. Components of a resume. Name, right? Of course, that's self-explanatory. Your number, your email. You don't have to put your whole full address on your resume no more. You may have to put it in the application, but there's no point. Most of the time, employers gonna look at this virtually, so I don't need to see your address, right? You may want to put the city and state to let them know you're local, but that because of the pandemic, that may not matter anymore. But you don't have to put your whole full address on your resume. Plus, you got a lot of crazies out here. You don't want nobody getting your address talking about, oh, be at your front door. So there's no point of having your resume, your address on your resume. Your email. Make sure you got a functional email. Make sure you got an email that, you know, is going to come to your phone or come to your computer that you'll be able to get information from your a potential employer as soon as possible. Because sometimes time is the essence. If I send you a link for a virtual interview on Monday, you don't need to be responding like Thursday. Oh, I just got it because it's spam. You want to be on that like white on rice. You want to make sure that you're constantly checking email and you have a functional email that employer can email you to, employer can contact you from. In addition to the email, make sure it's a professional one. Don't have an email on your resume that says "boss lady getting money 2020, 2021," or the haters ain't got nothing on me.com, right? That's how you want to express yourself outside of it. It's fine, but as employer, you want to have just your first and last. You want to have a very professional email with your first and last name. Not nothing crazy or a quote you thought of, right? I need to know whose email is from. If I'm an employer, it's from John Jenkins at Gmail. Okay, I want to be able to email directly John Jenkins. And don't use an email from a friend or family. Have your own email. If say for instance you use your son's email and his name is Jonathan Jackson and your name is something different, right? I'm as an employee can get confused. Like, who am I contacting? Am I contacting John or somebody else? Have an email with just your first and last name and possibly a number, underscore, or anything like that. But you want to just have it where it has your first and last name in there somewhere, so I know it's professional and an employee knows it's you. Okay. Summary your skills. We all, back in the day, of all years objectives, of course we know the objective is to get a job. That's why we put the resume out there, right? It's kind of obvious. Now you more so want to talk about a summary of your skills. What's your skill set? What you gonna bring to the company? What have you done in the past? What are you doing now, and what are you planning to do in the future? Like what you have planned, right? That's something you want to summarize in the beginning of your resume because it sets up the rest of it. If you just got one paragraph, I worked at Chili's. Okay, what does that tell me? Don't tell me the skills that you had there, right? You want to make one might want to say like, oh, I worked at Chili's. I manage, customer flow. I help assist customers, choosing food or what have you, right? You want to talk about, briefly what the different jobs you've had or skill sets you brought to those jobs in the summary skills, or you want to do a professional statement. Either or is good, right? A professional statement is like, okay, I'm this professional. I have these credentials. I've had this experience, and so forth. No more than 5 sentences, right? No more than 5 sentences, not a paragraph. You're not telling your whole life story is when I was young and I was coming up. Mama, no, I mean your story's great, your narrative was good, but when it comes to resume, just stick to the most important parts for employees: your skill set, and then what you've done, your education, and what you plan to do for the future. Okay. Work history, right? You want to put your first job, your oldest, your recent job first, right? You don't want to you're not putting every job you've ever had, right? If you worked at McDonald's in '96, right? The skills you got at McDonald's in '96 are not going to be relevant in 2021, right? Or put outdated stuff like, yeah, I know how to use Windows 95. This is 2020, 2021, right? You want to make up to the date with your skill and also experience, right? You don't want to go older than 10 years, right? You want to take in a 10-year span when it comes to displaying the careers on your resume. So stuff that, goes old as 2011, right? Until now, right? Unless you started the job in '97 and you didn't end to 2015, right? Okay, that's different. But don't listen to jobs that you started prior to 2011 because everything's changing in industries, right? Professions are changing, skill sets are changing, tools you need in order to do a job are changing, right? That may not be always relevant here in 2021. So just be mindful of that. You have a section for your education, training, and certification, right? If you went to a college, right, and then only took like one semester of classes, unless the employer is looking for you to have certain classes, right, you really wouldn't need to put in your resume. You want to put some things that you completed, like you completed high school, college, or if you're currently in school or college, you can put that on there too, right? But you want to put things that you completed, right? Not things that, oh, I want them one day, now I didn't, right? So make sure you kind of be mindful of that education piece when you put on your resume. In a training, right? You may want to a training class, right? In my training classes, I have have my participants put this on a resume because you earned it, right? You got a learned knowledge in how to write a resume. You got a knowledge in how to do interviews. You have knowledge in kind of leads on job search, right? You want to kind of put that and display that to employers too. Like, yeah, not only did I went to school or have you, but I got additional training to make sure that I had the skills necessary to meet the demands of the job. All right. Your certification. So if you got a CDL certification, you got a forklift certification, any certifications you have, you put that on there too, right? The thing is, you want to put all the credentials you have that employer need, right? And especially if you're looking for working in logistics, right? You're gonna need to put the certifications on there for the truck driving. If can you drive hazmat stuff that's hazardous? Can are you going to cross country? Whatever. You want to have the different credentials on your CDL or anything that employer can see. How can this person add to my company and make my company work better? Okay. On your resume, like I said, have most recent to the oldest. On your resume. So the ones you had in 2020 or 2021, the one you had right now, on to the oldest, which is 2011. Okay. Use bullet points in your resume. You don't want to have, say, for example, you worked at Miss Jenkins' food shop, right? And you write a paragraph on what you did there. Like I said, the 6-second rule, I'm gonna discard that. I need to know bullet points, no more than 4, what you did there. Open the store. Was responsible. I mean, don't use our responsible for. Open store. Assist the customers in finding items. Uh, Stock floor. What you want to have the most important, 4 most important things you did at that job. That tells the employer, like, you know what? Oh, they did that at that place. Oh, cool. They probably do it here. So you want to make sure that you have those bullet points that are quick, that can be quickly looked at on your resume. Um, you want to show when you started at the place, you're an employee, and then when you end it, right? All you need is the month and the year. You don't even have the day. Like I started working, like for example, I wouldn't put centers January 7th, 2017, right? I would just put January 2017. So you want this the month and the year is good enough to put on your resume. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys an example of a resume. There's kind of examples you can find online, but this is one that's real simple that I think anybody can do. But so let me show this to you right now. All right, everybody can see that. All right. All right, so this is an example of a resume, right? So at the top, of course, first name, last name, right? I know it says Harriet Free People because you did. Was one I don't want to use like the standard, John Smith, right? I want to use a name that kind of means Smith or something. Okay. City and state, right? I said put on that your phone number so they can call you. Make sure there's a number that's functioning, right? Or as a number where somebody can get the message to you as soon as possible. If you're using a friend's phone or a family member, make sure that when an employee call, they know how to get in contact with you immediately, so you can take advantage of the opportunity. Yeah, you don't want to give your number or have a number on file where the person is not reliable to get the message to you. So that's very important to make sure you have a reliable number. Okay. Right. So here's an example. And then your email address. Then here's an example of some of the skills. Remember, I told you that you want to make sure that you have a kind of a brief synopsis of your skill set or what you've done in your resume, right? Here's an example of that. Seeking an opportunity to become a part of the outstanding team that will allow me to apply for skills and what have you, right? That's just kind of saying, what you can add to the company, right? Your customer service skills and what have you, right? So that's just kind of just a brief example, but you want to make sure you're putting your best foot forward and kind of celebrating, in a sense, the things you've done in that, like, I'm a problem solver, right? I did this, that, and the third, right? You want to be so that you've solved problems. At the end of the day, every position that I talked about and discussed, a employer wants a problem solver. They want someone who can solve problems for them. They don't want anybody to come in that's going to be confused or not know what to do, right? It's going to take some growing pain or training for any job, but you want to have those problem solving skill sets down pat before you even get there, right? I think everybody has problem solving skills, right? We've problem solved how to live through this pandemic. So you have some problem solving skills. You just want to make sure you celebrate and show an employer that. Okay. Uh, like right here, you have your first employer, right? They started working this place in 2020, right? So you will put that first. Then you so on and so forth, right? So you will go from the most recent to the oldest. And here's an example of the training that I do in my class and some of the workshops and stuff like workshops and things of that nature that we do. So this is kind of a credential they put on their resume, right? So here, this person doesn't have a GED yet, but they may be going to Kennedy King or working with us to get it, so it's pending, right? If you're currently in school, you want to let an employer know that, yeah, you know what, I may not have that degree yet, but I'm studying for it, or this is where I'm studying. Um, so just kind of be mindful of that stuff. Okay. Right. Okay. So job searching, right? This is an integral part of kind of finding positions that work for you or positions that are available, right? It's some websites you kind of want to be familiar with. Indeed, right? We've all heard Indeed, even hit a commercial sometimes on the radio. But Indeed is a very important website looking for jobs. A lot of employers are using it because it helps them streamline the hiring process. They can monitor a lot of things, and also they don't have to have that type of capability internally as a company, right? If I don't have to build that, HR infrastructure or have uh, have that type of services within my company where I can save money doing that, right? I would outsource it or buy ads or post my jobs on Indeed, right? LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn is becoming it was integral in a part of the pandemic because number one, since I can't necessarily meet you face to face have an interview, right? What better way to look at your social media profile, right? The LinkedIn is pretty much the Facebook for looking for jobs, right? You post the information about what you're doing, your credentials, uh, your people in your network, people you work with, colleagues, and what have you. You want to be active on that, and employers see that. Like if you have a LinkedIn page and you haven't been on there in a while, employers can see that. You want to make sure you're active and posting. But I was, we're going to go to LinkedIn in a second and kind of look at the website. All right. Company websites, right? You may want to go directly to the company. Or I want to work for UPS, I go directly to the UPS website. Or I want to work for Target, I go directly for the Target website. Uh, some of these jobs may be posted on Indeed or whatever, but if I can go directly to the source, you want to do that. Go directly to the company that you want to get a job with, or you think that position meets your skill set. Go directly to that company. Glassdoor too. Glassdoor gives information, good information about salaries and potential openings for jobs. So you can use that too. Okay. Sorry about that. So we're gonna show you some of the websites you can sorry. Some of the websites you can use for job search. So is Indeed, and we talked about this, right? Indeed has you just literally type in the job you're looking for. So let's look at home health aides that we were talking about. Right? So yeah, home health giver, you have home health care aide, all shifts. So you see the job I'm looking for comes up, right? You have, and then on Indeed, you'll have these markers that say urgent hiring. These, I mean, they're trying to hire yesterday. So something that you can jump on immediately and possibly get a virtual interview for home health giver. So you see the different examples of the jobs that are available. But it gets a website to give you and then you want to make sure you put the location you're looking for jobs at, but it shows you the jobs available. Okay. So you also want to make sure you set up a good profile. Sorry. Excellent. So you want to make sure that you're setting up a profile too. This is my profile. Make sure that you're setting up a profile for LinkedIn so you can upload your resume. Right. It gives you option before you even sign up to upload your resume. Upload it. Right. Make sure that you you're out there, right? You want employees to see that you're available for work. You want to upload your resume. You can sign in if you have a Google account, Apple, or even your Facebook account. You can use that and just kind of tie your Indeed profile to it too. And also one of the things when we're talking about Facebook and everything, be mindful of what you're putting on social media, right? Employers are looking at that. Don't anything that you feel compromised or think that's inappropriate, don't put on online because employers gonna see it eventually. Even if you thought you deleted it or what have you, employers have services and they're hiring people to look over that. So be mindful of what you put on your social media. Okay. So example how you will log in for your Indeed account. Okay. LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn is so important. So I'm going to share my LinkedIn page with you guys. So your LinkedIn, right? It's like I said, it's kind of just like Facebook, right? It has the messenger part, right? Where you may have some spam, but you have colleagues that may have emailed you, right? You have your network. You have all the people that you've worked with or that you have connection to, right? They will, will display what they have going on for their jobs, or you can contact them. These are all people who you would, you've worked with, or who you may better give a recommendation, or may have jobs available, right? But this is your network, okay? You can also apply for jobs directly from Indeed. So jobs that kind of feature qualification, come up, right? See, these are technical training coordinator and counsel. These are so they kind of scan my resume and see, oh, these are jobs that your resume fit, right? So these are jobs not just pie in the sky and stuff that doesn't have anything to do with it. These are jobs that come from my resume. So when you upload your resume to LinkedIn and have it on there, you'll be able to get jobs that kind of tailored to your talent. Okay. You see how like pretty much looks just like Facebook. So you have people that have different messages about their jobs. You have people having advertisements. You have different projects people going on. Right. This is a good way to promote yourself, promote your business, right, and also to recruit. There's a lot. There's so many different other things you can do with LinkedIn, but as an employer, I can give them a one-stop shop to look for the people I need to. I can come to LinkedIn, look at the LinkedIn page and see, if they'll be a good fit for my company. Okay. Let's go to Glassdoor. Right. So you have Glassdoor's give information, they have jobs that are available, but also salaries. You can upload your resume here. I mean, you can do same a lot of things on Indeed, but Glassdoor is really good about giving you information about salaries. Right. You can even look at to say business coordinator, for example. It gives you, what is the base salary for it, right? What's the average? So you know what, I want to go into the industry, I may not, right? But it gives you kind of a good look on what's the base salary you want to look for. So when you go in and it's like, yeah, we want to start you off at 35. Well, I was looking for more than 40. It helps you in the negotiation. So like this is kind of the standard base for that job. So it's just giving you information. So when you go in there and negotiate your salary, you're better equipped. Okay. So we went over the job searching. So make sure you look over the sites, get familiar with them, right? You want to play around with those. You want to, set up your profile. You want to, even monetize to your Google account or your Facebook account, but you want to definitely make sure you're putting your presence out there on those websites. So when you're looking for jobs or looking for employers, right, they can grab you. Okay. All right. Preparing for the interview. We all know that everything's virtual interviews. There's not in-person interviews. They may resume, but a company like instead of if I'm hiring, I gotta fly you out and everything. Instead of doing that, I can just do a Zoom call. I'm gonna do a Zoom call. It's cheaper, right? You should have a face-to-face connection, and then I can save money as employer. So we're gonna make sure that you have that. Um, so when you prepare for the interview, schedule a time that you know you ain't gonna have no distractions. Your kid ain't gonna be in the background asking you for a bowl of cereal. Your cousin, your mama ain't gonna call, or you figure you gotta do something else. Make sure you schedule time where you have no distractions, so you can dedicate all that time to that interview, so you can get employed. Right. Make sure that your spaces interview is clear. Right. You don't have in the background where you got your dirty laundry, you know, trash on the floor, or you don't have a lot of stuff on the desk or anything. You have anything. Make sure your space is clear, right? You want to have the least distractions possible when you're trying to interview for a position virtually, right? Make sure you have a quiet place. Make sure you're not, in a place where it's gonna be a lot of noise. If you know you live in the house of other people, tell them, like, look, I need y'all to be quiet from 6 to 8:30 because I have an interview and I don't want to be interrupted. So you want to make sure that you kind of communicate that with people who live or friends or whatever. Make sure that you're doing it. Right. Can you see the interviewer? Right. You want to make sure you're in a well lit place. You don't want to have it with the lights on where employer can see you. You want to make sure that things are well lit. Um, uh, if they can't see you, they can't hire you. Make sure somebody can see you with your lights on your thing. Uh, like I said, schedule an interview at a time where you won't be interrupted. Okay. Uh, you want to be familiar with the video services that an employer uses, right? Make sure that they may use Zoom, Google Meet, or Microsoft Teams, but they'll let you know. Get familiar with it. So when you do an interview, you're not kind of dealing with technical issues that you can go directly to asking questions about your skill set, and then also you guys questions about the company.
Cleveland,
Yes,
could
ma'am.
I ask a question? I noticed that you covered the various positions, and a lot of the positions were entry level. Do you have services for professionals? Let's say I've been working 15 years as a manager, and due to the pandemic, there was a downsizing. And I was furloughed, so I don't have a position. So I understand the resume, but now I'm trying to get out there to interview. Do you provide services for professionals in addition to entry level positions?
Yeah, so what professionals directly, we're working on business reps to find companies that kind of fit their skill set. So we'll go directly to an employer on their behalf when we're looking for positions. Yeah, so they would go directly to them. So they wouldn't have to go through not saying the rigorous or the job training, it would go directly to the employer. So if I had 15 years experience, I'm not going to sit through a job readiness training class, or we're not going to sit you to those entry level jobs. I know you have a credentials, so we'll get you to jobs that kind of fit, your skill set and your experience.
Do I have to pay a fee for that
No,
service?
no, we don't charge it for any of our services.
Okay. You mentioned earlier about you spoke a lot about environmental services versus cleaning services. Do you recommend people to go into business on their own since there's such a need for the environmental services?
I think I definitely do. I mean, a lot of these opportunities are for people to have business opportunities, especially environmental services, because they have more demand than they have people for. So therein lies an opportunity for someone who has been cleaning for X amount of years. You know what? I might as well start my own cleaning services because most of the time you have some contacts in the industry that you've worked with that can help you get business. Then you also know how the business works, right? Oh, you know what? I know this schools gonna need clean. Let me offer them my services, right? There are definitely a lot of business opportunities for that within the environmental services.
Okay. Those of you who are following the presentation, if you have any comments or questions, please include in the comment area. And I know Dr. Robert Clay may have a couple of questions, but I do want to also ask, you mentioned your training class. Can you give me a high level, what happens in the training class?
So what happens is that we get every other week we have a class where one of our participants comes from one of our employment services reps, they come to us, well, this person needs a resume. This person needs interviewing skills. This person needs how to search for a job. Then they get signed up with me, and then we'll start the class Monday of the week, or they'll come on a day that kind of meets what they need, and they'll come into the workshop. It's a resume workshop, or it's the job search day, or the art of interviewing day. Our clients will kind of log in to the class virtually, and we'll discuss kind of today's topic, and I give them pointers on how to navigate that.
Now, given that we're in the pandemic season, do they come into the physical building, or you
No,
do
man.
this? How do you do it?
So we do it virtually. Only time that we may do in the physical, if you have no computer, no access thing, we may do socially distant in house for a couple people. Like we keep at least below 5 people. You may work in person, but everything is virtual. So that you can access the class from both your phone or your computer. So we try to make that available because we know a lot of our clients don't have computers. So we try to make sure that they can access the material from their cell phone.
Yeah. Um, I just want to remind individuals that I posted several times the link to the form to connect with the organization Centers for New Horizons. So, can you tell us again, Cleveland, about the form, and then I'll turn it over to Dr. Robert Clay?
So the form it pretty much just gives us simple information about first and last name, how'd you hear about the events, and then first and last name, your number, and then one of our colleagues, my colleagues or myself, will get back to you and see what kind of services you need, right? And we'll better answer questions on how we can help you at that time.
Okay, so if nothing else today, if you are in need of employment or want to advance or you're stuck in a dead end position, I need you to fill out that form. This is an actual resource of a prominent organization in our community that's helping with employment. So thank you for the partnership, and I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Robert Clay.
Cleveland, that was a breadth of information, so deep in regards to the details of the different jobs that are available, but also resume writing, interviewing tip, technology, which is so important. I do have one question before I give my closing remarks and pass it on to Elder Ferranda to pray us out. Is do you or can you share with us during this pandemic time 3 areas of growth that you believe individuals need to be cognizant of as they're looking to get back into the workforce and or find their experience in their current positions?
You want to make yourself an integral part of any company you do it, right? You want to make sure your skills are relevant to your company or what you're looking for. I've seen that. Also, you want to make sure that you're focused on problem solving because we understand things have changed so much during this pandemic. You have to have somebody who can adapt to those changes. You need somebody who's adaptable. I've seen. And also, you want to definitely make sure you're familiar with technology. I know sometimes it can be overwhelming, but you want to know all the latest technology when it comes to your profession, the way you're looking for jobs or anything that you want to make sure you're doing that.
We do have a question from
Yes, ma'am.
Quita. Can you see the question, Cleveland?
Yes, I'm looking at it, reading it now. So what you want to do is you can say you may not you don't want to get to details of why you have separation. Just say that you want to look for other opportunities, right? You had yeah, you want to look for new opportunities. You wanted to explore a different skill set, right? You don't necessarily have to talk about the negative part at the employee, but just talk about you all. You just want to look for a new opportunity. Okay.
Thank you, Quita. Great question. Any
Yeah,
other
definitely a good question.
questions?
Well, we are excited because we are able to partner with this organization. And as Elder said, please complete the form. It's just an inventory form to express you're still interested in connecting. And that form goes directly to the center. So we won't have your information. They get it. It's basically a connection piece to ensure you can learn more about their services and take advantage of their services because guess what? They are free. You can't beat that, folks. I mean, considering all that's going on in the world, it's great to have free resources in our community that serve us to help out in regards to our career development. I do want to say thank you all so much for taking this journey with us. We started this year when our pastor, our visionary Bishop Larry D. Trotter, had challenged us with the theme for this year, uh, 2021 Better, the year of divine intention. And Elder and I felt it was necessary to provide some opportunities to be intentional and providing better living opportunities for our members as well as our community. We talked about financial literacy, credit, debt management. We talked about relationships. We talked about mental and physical wellness. We talked about all types of things. And we're just so excited that you all sojourn with us through this experience. But I am even more excited because one thing we failed to do as churches is not talk about the natural man. And Better Living Workshop series was about that. Guess what? We go to our spiritual man next. Our very own Elder Ferranda Williamson and the Christian Education Academy of Sweet Holy Spirit will be kicking off their season in regards to how we're going to move forward in 2021 with the Christian Education Academy. Guess what? In 2 weeks, the kickoff will be on Wednesday, March 17th, 8 to 9:30 p.m. And basically just an overview of the academy, what is to be going on. We will be joined by one of my favorites, Sister Walterine Johnson, Director of Christian Ed from Fellowship Chicago Emeritus. She is going to join Elder Ferranda to talk about how the academy will allow us to grow spiritually, intentionally, grow the church and kingdom during and after COVID, praise and worship the Lord, and wearing the full armor of God and activating and reactivating our gifts, visions, and callings. So you're going to have a great time with the kickoff, and it's going to be awesome in regards to how we're going to move forward from the natural man to the spiritual man. So we're excited about the Christian Ed Academy. Join us on Wednesday, March 17th from 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Via Zoom. So all the information will be shared on our SSH Church page, so you can learn more about that. Again, Cleveland, thank you so much for your piece. Edward, thank you so much for being a part.
It's a pleasure.
And we hopefully expect to continue this partnership with our members throughout the rest of the year to ensure we can get some jobs and better jobs, as our pastor always tells us. Elder?
Yes, this has been a very informative evening because we have so many people that have been impacted by COVID with unemployment, being furloughed, and of course, not being able to go out and physically secure a position. But I just want to thank Cleveland and Edwin. And I also want to thank Krista Hamilton, the CEO for the Centers for New Horizon, for her willingness to allow her staff to come and be with us tonight. So again, please use that link. This is a resource that you can utilize and share. You may not need a position, but you may know someone else who is in need of a job or wants to advance in their career. Guess what? The Centers for New Horizon is there to help, and I've given the address. And again, we're going to start our biblical foundations on March 17th with our guest speaker, Dean Walterine Johnson. So let's go in prayer. Father God, we just thank you for your awesomeness. We thank you for allowing us to bring to your people information via this digital virtual platform. Even though we're not able to be in a building, we are able to spread the word and knowledge. Lord, there's so many people that are unemployed. There's so many people that are stuck in positions that are dying, but we know that you're able to open the doors for them. We thank you, Lord, for the Centers for New Horizon and all the work they're doing to the community to help people be employed, stay employed, and advance in careers. I ask that you bless our church. We thank you for our pastor, Bishop Larry Donnell Trotter, for this platform and this opportunity. And we just ask you, Lord, continue to make a way, make the provision for your people, is my prayer. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Thank you all again.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
And thanks everyone for joining us tonight. This broadcast will be posted on our Facebook and YouTube page for Sweet Holy Spirit Church.